hero that we are used to seeing from him that is not Terizla or Arlet. So, oh, and the Vexana actually picked up by DEWA too. A bit more peel, but oh.
Quick pick.
Ultra healing for Geek Fam with the Florin. And that's why they picked up the Valentina, to take the IMU away. So you won't have the blue. We will have a lot of healing. You won't.
It was a trade of two things, but it feels like DEWA United. Now they are pinched into a cold sack. This could be a 2-0 from Geek Fam, but of course we hope DEWA United would be able to fight back. Geek Fam, I feel like with this draft, they look much more solid. Let's see though with the counter index.
Well, last game, the counter index and the lineup rating also favored DEWA United. So I don't know if you want to be looking at the counter index and lineup rating to decide ultimately who's going to take this game. No Purifies though on the board for Geek. Meanwhile, 2 Purifies for DEWA, really respecting that CC.
Will the gods be punished once more? Or will they be the ones punishing the Geeks? They have to save themselves for a playoff spot. Geek Fam en route to that. It is Geek Fam against DEWA United in game number 2.
Match point for Geek. Belorski was the man of the hour. He was on the Hellcurt. Now Florin last pick. Will he be able to have the same influence on or in the Land of Dawn?
This man has 2 alter egos. It's either him playing the healers or him just taking charge of the skirmishes with the assassin types of roams that he is able to use. And now with the Florin pick, I feel like he'll play a bit more safe and he'll just enchant his teammates with the healing that he has.
Yeah, usually with the Florin, you don't really expect the team with the Florin to actually go for neutral objectives early. They actually really like to go for the trades instead. I think that might be what Geek Fam are looking for. So Ray will technically still walk up to the turtle, but he'll just be looking for a steal. If they will zone him and commit resources, they'll just back away. But yeah, Jadera actually doesn't go for the Master Assassin, so he's not really concerned of the laning, but still he's winning. Beloy Flicker, oh!
Invested the flicker early, even does not connect though. That's already a huge threat for Watt, who popped the Purify. So laning-wise, Watt versus Chidera. Chidera has a flicker in hand.
Yeah, and this is really, really good for Jadera, because we were talking about how Beatrix will be able to bully the Claude hard in lane with the Master Assassin. The fact that he's doing it with the Weapon Mastery means that this man is going to be a menace in the mid-game. Once he gets that BOD and maybe Heptaseeds, depending on what he wants to go for, this is a scary, scary Beatrix.
This Beatrix could really snowball quite soon, and you can see the pressure exerted towards Watt. And Luke, he's just going to play more safe with the Ruby. He's going to wait for the pickoffs that is going to be called maybe later in this stage of the game. But now, of course, the neutral objective contest, like what Rico mentioned, maybe Geek, they don't really want to go and rush themselves into the neutral objective contest. Because they have this Florin, they'll choose to let it go maybe. But Luke will try to shadow this turtle, so it could be contested. I mean, Ray is in the vicinity.
Dilla, good setup though, already early. Dixon early, Brave Spider as well. Ray will not be able to find the angle, and he will not force the first neutral objective. Goes to the hands of DEWA.
Yeah, they'll concede it, and like how we discussed, it is in the hands of DEWA United now. Geek Fam will just play this safe and wait for the timers, the power spikes to come in, especially into this Beatrix.
Now it's just back to a slow build for Geek Fam and DEWA. For DEWA, neutral objective control, they should try to utilize as much as possible the advantage of the turtle, getting a bit more shielding. They want to try to look for brawls around the map, but I think Geek Fam have actually drafted it in a way where they can avoid teamfights very easily. They have so many disengage tools with the Ruby, the Valentina technically, with the Terrify, and even Ray. You just pop the Tetanus Welcome to get anti-CC and dash away. And on top of that, the Bloom. So even if DEWA overchase, there's always going to be another layer of health that you can rely on. And now DEWA are kind of stuck. They're kind of forced to play a scaling game against Geek Fam.
When talking about scaling, I feel like Geek Fam, they do have that in their pockets. It will get harder for DEWA United as the game progresses, but again, this Claude could be a menace if it does touch that late game scenario. Geek Fam, the way they just corral into these positions, they're pretty on point with all the movements around the map. But how long will they concede the neutral objectives? I mean, DEWA United will always have their hands first into the objectives as Ray gets his orange buff stolen away.
Yeah.
Very good proactiveness there. Oh, bottom side. Will not give it on towards the fight just yet here. 4 minutes and no kills yet. Perhaps in the second turtle, both teams will find and want business. Ooh. Good runner there by Chidera.
A lot of poke.
Did you see the emote? Ha!
A lot of poke with the Beatrix. When it comes to the late game, does this Beatrix call this squad, or will the squad just take charge?
You know what? I'll actually say the Beatrix will have a better time in this game in particular, because firstly, you have to win the nature. Oh, I'm offended.
Good knockup though by the Vexana. Destabilizing. Looking for a setup for that turtle. Gary taunts Luke. Does not connect on towards the damage just yet. Dixon jumps in. Knocked up here. And it seems like the turtle will fall to the hands of Gary. Geek Fam will not commit on towards a fight as they find no compensation for that turtle.
Again, an even game, back to square one. But the neutrals are all in the hands of DEWA United. You can see a boy. He would always have that extra peel with the IMU when stolen towards Cage with the Vexana. So you have that extra lord that can help you and assist you in the skirmishes later on.
Great disengage tool, like we said, for Geek Fam. So they technically can try to be proactive, but in the end, they can just back off if they need to. And that's what we saw from DEWA. But back to the question in hand, the Beatrix or the Cloud. In this game in particular, I would have to say the Beatrix will have an easier time in the mid to late game. Why? Because number one, with a nature, so he can actually just neutralize the damage. And for Watt, you would say the same thing. He can also go with a nature miracle, but the thing is, he has to go in at the right time, like legit. For Geek Fam, like you said, they have so many disengage tools that they can technically kite forever. But for Watt, he has to use the Blazing Duet perfectly in this fight. And even then, there's a Terrify, there's an I'm Offended, there's a Don't Run Wolf King, there's a Big Chomp as well. There's so many ways for Geek Fam to layer their damage or CC on Watt, and to add on top of that, the Renner shots. This poke from Geek Fam in towards the late game, it's gonna hurt a lot. And technically for Geek Fam, that power spike is technically almost there, almost. Consider needs one more item, but then engage.
Oh my goodness, good taunt, good knockup as well! First blood towards Malorski, but the trade is a little bit expensive. Chidera falls as well. Wow. Now Ray, as well as Luke, will fall. It's an ultimate wipeout. The first wipeout in the series, and it goes to the hands of the gods.
6-minute wipeout. We talked about how they could disengage, but when you have DEWA United in your faces, left, right, center, there is nowhere for you to go.
One mistake is all it takes with no Purify, and the Beatrix step over, way over for Driana knockup, and then you can see the overwhelming CC from DEWA. The Eternal Guard on top of the taunt and the knockup, just so many combos together. It was a wombo combo Chamro. That's what Ranger Mas used to say.
A lot of wombo combos indeed, but Tian in the subject of something. He's gonna be fine. The orange buff contest again, Gary. You have so much control with the Fredrin, and you want to contest these little things in that part of the map. We're talking about how Geek Fam, they could just play this like a little game of tug of war. You could rather just poke and disengage, or when you want to step forward, when you want to engage, when all hells break loose, and when it doesn't go your way to disengage. But then again, you have to be in the right exact timing, the right exact position. If DEWA just get hold of your position, it is very hard for them to just run away. And it was proven that mid-skirmish where DEWA was able to get 5 kills, all for themselves.
Oh, almost a solo, practically, from Chidera. Now, let's see, Circling Eagle will not be committed there. But what happened there in the bottom side of the map? Actually, Chidera popped the flicker as well, so yeah, Watt almost miscalculated.
But it ends up being a big win, actually, for Watt, right? Because he just committed the Battle Mirror Image, didn't even use the Purify, and Chidera had to commit the flicker. What happened was a big Renner apathy to the face, and a flicker almost with a basic attack. But that's the damage that will continue to build for Chidera as well. Thing is, for Geek Fam, their main plan was just to weather the storm in the early game. It's all about getting to the mid to late. Now that the 4,000 gold lead has been taken away by DEWA, and now that Gary is so far ahead over Ray, actually, this might actually get tougher for Geek Fam. They might have to concede a whole lot of tier 2s before they can get to their item power spikes and before this Florin actually gets online.
Florin will be the key for Geek Fam, of course, as the game progresses. But again,
man,
you can look at the poke potential enhancing there with the Renner's Apathy. But DEWA, they'll be fine, of course, with what is being able to traverse around positions. So Geek Fam is approaching this together, moving in unison. You know, they try to look for a pick-off, maybe some sort of engage to a certain member of DEWA United, but they'll have to wait again for their power spikes.
Sure, I don't think they can take fights right now. They're still quite far behind. That's a 4,000 gold lead, and Gary's 2 levels ahead unless they get a pick.
Dixon, a little bit too premature, but now with the blazing duet, Watt will try to create
Dixon!
havoc, and that's a good taunt there as Watt finds one into Dara, will be taken out as well. Watt finds a double, looking for the triple as Ray is a juicy target, and the Dino falls here as Kaze will lock him down. Now a boy and Luke against 5. It's a little too much to ask here as they are still able to hold the line.
The gods finally give away the punishment towards the Geeks. You can see how Dixon was the embodiment of God. He wasn't dead. He was able to escape in that position.
He just took it like a man, or like you said, like a god in front. This frontlining, dealing damage, and soaking everything in their way. And now Gary's 3 levels ahead of Ray. He can do whatever he wants, technically. I don't even think Geek Fam can really pick him off. Luke goes for the I'm offended. But Gary doesn't care if he offends you, man. He's there. But yeah, for DEWA, they're utilizing that wipeout advantage so well. They're just capitalizing on every little mistake that Geek Fam are making. And Geek Fam are making a whole lot of mistakes, right? They are engaging against a team with a 4,600 gold lead. The fact that Dixon survived, oh man, 8-0. I think it says it all right now. Geek Fam tried to weather the storm, but the storm is eating them up.
Way too hard. 7.6k gold up for DEWA United. But they have to farm up their items. I mean, for Chidera, he already completed Malefic Roar as well. But in the current position of DEWA United, they're just snowballing hard. And what? They're all fine, and no deaths attributed towards DEWA United Geek Fam. Will they be able to hit back in this game?
Patient, and you gotta be patient. All inners now officially taken down from the side of Geek Fam's map. Listen, see here. For the stun, don't want to engage for Hazard Ray now, off HP. Luke looking for an engage. Lord now needs to be taken care of ASAP. They will with the Bennett's range.
Hold. And the Lord has been peeled away without losing that base turret, so at least keep for something!
Good, I'm offended on towards you. Dixon now pops the bravest fighter. Actually finds this knock-up, but good flicker there by Luke. Now they want to move on towards the first base turret in the bottom side of the map. They will get it. Geek Fam will not be able to defend that one, but they will try and defend the mid. Good poke around both of the teams here. You do not want to get and commit onto his unnecessary fight. Still 8-0 though. Still alive.
That was a good pull, but I don't sense where Geek Fam does have enough damage. They just don't.
Not yet. No, they're still way too behind. And I think if you take a look at the gold lead, 9,000. That's why. It's very tough for Geek Fam to actually look for damage. Because even Chidera, yeah, sure. You have a lot of peel, you have a lot of healing. But now that the damage dealers for DEWA deal so much as well, just the Lapu alone in the front with the Hunter Strike can zone you, and you technically can't also just overextend because you don't have any you don't have a Purify, right? You have to flicker out. It's going to be kind of tough. They've even now. Okay, this is where they get their power spike, by the way, right? Like it's already mid game. The Florin has a bit of healing as well, but I feel like it's a bit too late, and they've already given such a big advantage to DEWA. And DEWA's already taken that advantage from them. The 8,000 gold lead will mean they have so much more map prio and so much more ways to actually take this game. Bottom lane slow pushing, and Geek Fam don't really have anyone to clear. The only guy that can clear is the Beatrix, and that's a problem when your marksman is the guy who you need to send into the bottom lane. And it's not a mobile marksman, it's Beatrix. It's not a Claw that can just blink constantly wall to wall. He has good clear, but you can see how they were utilizing this.
Is contesting the right answer. Let's see. Oh, Dixon jumps onto it. Chidera pops the bloom early. Now let's see. Geek, they're scattered, but Dixon and Gary will find one. Ray is actually isolating, taken out as well, but Gary will be taken out. Good peel and good disengage by Chidera, who was targeted heavily by DEWA United's member. Now, DEWA, though, still have full control on the Lord Pit.
A fight that looked to go the way of Geek Fam, but again, they just lost all of it. And DEWA United, the tanky front lines doing the job, just holding their lives forevermore. And Geek Fam, they're just able to get one, but lost 2 members in that exchange. And the Lord as well. It's going to the hands of DEWA United.
They finally get something on the board at least, right? They're no longer at 0 kills, but still, big problem for them because the trade was not good enough. Man, that was a massive bonk from Gary. Luckily for Chidera, he had the win in nature on time because he would have just been deleted there. Let's take a look at Dixon. This is what we're talking about. The fact that Dixon can just go behind and do this much damage. Dude, Chidera, luckily, he saved that win in nature. Because if he used it for Dixon, that bonk would have deleted him and Beloyski. It ended up just with Beloyski suffering the death. But now Geek Fam full defense mode. Chidera has Bennett, but is it going to be enough?
Will the threat be enough now with the Lord standing still in the base? Circling Eagle onto it still. The damage will come through Rock now already hitting towards the base. Geek Fam still with 5 out, and they will be able to take care of the Lord now. Focusing on towards the mid. DEWA United, they are reshifting their focus. Not on towards the base turret. They will instead clear the jungles.
They have good wave clear. The hands of Geek Fam. A lot of weaponry in the pockets of Chidera. You have the Nibiru, you have the Bennetts as well. To clear up the minions quite quick, so at least now for Geek Fam, they can still hold on. DEWA, there's just going to be another opportunity for them to just knock on the doors of Geek Fam. And I don't know when they'll be able to fight back. There's Spike. It's just not coming in.
Yeah, they can't really penetrate this base. They need to slowly but surely get rid of the other base turrets for now, because to end this game, they need all the 3 base turrets crashing in at once with a Lord so that they can actually utilize that chaos to hit the turret. Right now, I think for the way DEWA end, you know, 3 base turrets obviously and the Lord marching down on the base, and then all of them just need to dive. They need to get some space for Watt to hit the turret, because as of right now, the fact that Geek Fam have so much peel makes it super hard for DEWA to just commit into that base with the 2 base turrets still standing, with only 1 minion wave pushing in to that base itself. But if we take a look at the items, Chidera is online. He has the DHS, so the Lapu Lapu won't even be able to really soak in as much damage. It really depends, though. If he goes for Queen's Wings here, he can actually add on to the damage reduction of his Bravest Fighter to try to soak in as much damage as possible from Chidera. But now that a boy has also kind of reached his item power spike with a Divine Glaive, and he's already building towards a Holy Crystal that he should be able to complete very, very soon, it gets to a point where DEWA need to end things quick, or they might actually have to face off against this mid to late game composition of Geek Fam head on in a pure 50-50 fight. Luckily for them, it won't be 50-50. It will still be favored to them because of the super mini wave that'll be pushing in the far lane this time. The Lord is spawning up top. It'll mean that DEWA will have a lot more to say here, just by utilizing the forced error of the slow push building in bot.
I gotta say though, being 9,000 gold behind, being like map control is non-existent. Geek Fam are doing pretty decent in defending their base. Now though, potential engage, all good taunt, and they will commit.
Healing.
Bloom will be popped now. Luke looking for a disengage, and DEWA now they will have full control on the Lord's Pit. Let's see how Geek Fam will try to retake the Lord's Pit. It seems like they will reset it first. Top HP though, not fully, as the bottom side will be forced to clear.
And the bottom side is just pushing, crashing towards the crystal. So this is a free Lord for DEWA United without context. Circling Eagle.
Oh, on towards 3 as well. Now Luke being the sandbag as well as Ray. Ray will not be able to escape this time, but Bloom will save his life for some time. Now let's see here. Geek Fam still stands with 5. A very good defense yet again, as they were able to hold the door. I'm offended with, but now DEWA United maintaining pressure on towards the top side of the map here. as Geek Fam is actually able still to defend that one.
Look at the fortitude of Geek Fam just holding on towards their base turrets. They don't want this to, you know, big things to just fall, because this is the line of defense, the last line of defense that Geek Fam does have if they want a shot at that mid-game 50-50 fight, like how Mirko mentioned.
Well, it's going to have to be in their base. This might be fight or flight for Geek. Oh, they can't fix it!
It's a good engage. Has the immortality though. Now Geek Fam and as well as Dewa. Who will pull the trigger first? With the Lord now, 6-man jumping already in the base. Good knock up. But now Geek Fam, will they be able to defend this time? And it seems like no. We will have a game 3 in our opening match of today.
The gods do strike back. As the Geeks now, they have to undergo game number 3.